Hello everyone and welcome back to LM Simulation here on YouTube. So we are back. It is approximately November. I'm recording this, it's about the middle of November, so when this comes out it will be the end of November. And I'd like to wish everyone a very early sort of Thanksgiving, early Christmas, that sort of thing. I'm only going to be releasing one video next month, a Christmas special from myself in Train Sim World 3. In the brand new Train Sim World 3. We're going to be doing a route that I haven't actually covered yet. Not a brand new route, but something a little bit different. But that's all for next month. That's all to look forward to. In this video, we will be exploring Flight Simulator and everything that does come with it. Flight Sim 2020. You know, there's plenty to see, plenty to do, and plenty to fly around and explore. So if you do follow your flight simulators, you will probably have just realised that we've had, Sim Update 11, which is your latest update, has just been released. It is the 40th anniversary special update. It has caused no end of problems for a lot of people, but it has given us a wealth of new content, something I'm going to be exploring in this episode today. So, without further ado, let's jump in and see where we go with this, to be honest. I've got myself on a timer just to make sure this video doesn't go too long because there is a lot to cover. We're going to start off with helicopters because they're the very most difficult thing to cover. Then we'll go on to gliders, and then we'll go on to the new aircraft that have been coming. And we've not got too much time to be able to cover all of this. I don't want this to be a very long video. Anyway, so as you can see here, you've got a few new things here. You've got the 40th anniversary sale, which is very useful. We've got helicopters, gliders, everything like that. So the first thing we're going to look into is helicopters. Basically just getting your hang of it, getting you flying, understanding how they work. So, if I'm right, there is a... I don't want to do that. I don't know why. Did that helicopter in New York? That sounds about right. Yeah, so as you can see, it looks very, very weird at the moment. With all these green lines. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I will basically show you a very much simplified version of how to get the helicopter going. So this might be a bit laggy, we'll see. I don't exactly know how this is going to go, but this is helicopters for the first time in Flight Sim 2020. I'm very much looking forward to bringing this to you. Helicopters are extremely difficult to fly, so I'll be amazed if I can get this first time round. First thing that I am going to do actually is change my controls, because they're currently set to my default, which is just called Leo. I need to change that controller profile over to helicopters, which is gamepad helicopters, I believe. Then if I go down to, or is it a new one I've set up? Yeah, it's that one there. It's controller profile. That's it. So because effectively you've got a lot more to do in this than just controlling the throttle. So. Let's dive in. This is going to be your entry into helicopters here in New York. As you can see here with this, I think it's a jumble. I can't pronounce it correctly. This is a French helicopter, and it's very simple to fly. But helicopters are not simple to fly, so it's probably the simplest of all the helicopters. But it is still very difficult to get your hand around when you first try it. So hopefully, we can jump into the flight and see what happens. As you can see, New York is modelled fantastically in Flight Simulator. Not too sure the frame rate reflects that, but anyway, let's jump in. I'm not too sure what it's doing. Oh, it is doing this. Okay, no worries. So it shows these weird green line things outside the aircraft. First of all, I think there is a way to turn that off. Very, very much an assistance type thing. Let me just have a look and see where it is. Is it user experience? Yes, user experience. It's called Aerodynamic Visualization CFD. So if you turn that off, as you can see, and press apply and save, go back and resume. Yay! Now you're outside your helicopter like normal. So let's have a quick. I'm going to turn that drone speed down now. Quite a lot, down to about 12. That'll probably work better. Yep, there we go. Welcome to New York in Flight Sim 2020. I'm not too sure if this is the New York you'll get when you have Flight Sim, but hey ho, this is all new helicopters here in Flight Sim. I do want to get a screenshot just to get us down. But that's downtown Manhattan. There, we're going to be flying this. It's called a Gimbal. Gimbal. It's a French aircraft, a French helicopter, and we're going to be flying this just around sort of the Manhattan sort of area here. It's not easy to fly, as you'll certainly find out in a minute. I'm trying not to focus on what the hell that building is over there and what the hell the frame rate is doing, but you've got a few buildings over there. We'll do a quick flight and show you how to get this thing going. So I've flown helicopters 3 times in the sim, so I am effectively a newbie, so I do apologise for that. So let's jump into the cockpit. Here you go, this is the cockpit of the Gimbal. As you can see, looking very nice indeed. Yeah, I can't really fault it. I think it looks fantastic. You've got a very simplified cabin. Basically, you know exactly what you'll need to be able to fly this helicopter. Just trying to get the... Yeah, there we go, that's a bit better. Right, so effectively you need to control something called the collective in order to go up and down, the throttle to be able to go backwards and forwards, but also you need to be able to use your stick, your thing. And when I say I'm using a gamepad, I'm using an Xbox 360 controller to be able to control this game, left and right, backwards and forwards, up and down. Now I'm a newbie to this, so you'll have to apologise. But I think if I look downwards, sorry, that controls the collective. It does. Good. Right. Okay. Super. So the collective is what you need basically to get off the ground. So if I increase the throttle using the A button a tad, and then if I increase the collective just slightly, you end up in the air. So there we go. And now we're going to play some copyrighted music because that's what Flight Simulator does, and we're going to start flying this incredible machine forwards and backwards. It kind of feels like it's my first time flying a helicopter, and it really is. I just feel amazed. The fact that you can actually fly a helicopter, go left and right, backwards and forwards, explore, and be able to hover. But landing this thing is even more tricky, I can tell you that. If you thought that, if you thought this was difficult, yeah, you've seen nothing yet, you really haven't. But oh my word. So you've got Manhattan over there on the left-hand side, Brooklyn bridges and stuff. I've never been to New York, so I wouldn't really know what it looks like in real life. I've seen lots of pictures, so that's all I can really go by. We've got Kennedy International Airport. It's 10 miles away from the centre of New York, so it's not exactly that close. But this is some of the sort of the suburbs, I'd say, of New York. There's some cars jumping off jumping off bridges. Just ignore that. That's Flight Simulator being useless like normal. But hey, look at that. That is insane. We are in a helicopter, ladies and gentlemen, in Flight Simulator. What a fantastic bit of kit this is. It is truly amazing. If I want to go higher, I can go higher, and if I want to go lower, I can go lower by increasing the collective. So there's the Verizon building. We're just going to go past the World Trade Center, the #1 World Trade Center, because there is only one. Used to be 2, until unfortunately the events of 2001 occurred. So now we're flying right over these ginormous buildings here. And there, we've got to go down to that. We absolutely have to go down. There is the Statue of Liberty. Let's go around the World Trade Center. Hello, World Trade Center. How are you doing? Look at that. That is fantastic, isn't it? Make sure not to crash into it, otherwise this video will never go on YouTube and I'll never be able to live it down. Yeah, even if it is by mistake. That is interesting. I love it. I just love the ability to not have to fly in a physical aircraft, to be able to fly a helicopter, and the ability to learn how to fly it and use it and everything. It's just transforms your experience. It really does. Anyway, let's go over to Lady Liberty over on the Statue of Liberty Island. I've no idea what the island that it's located on is, but I want to see it. I like in my real life, I want to see it, and I want to do a helicopter flight past it. No doubt that would probably cost about £2,000 in real life or something like that. Who knows? But wow. Right, so once we go past the Statue of Liberty, I've got to try and land this thing on one of these islands. That's the next, that's the next challenge. Once we finish that challenge, we'll then go on to gliders. Now, gliders are not something I've ever done before in Flight Sim. Now, if you've ever flied Aerofly FS, you'll know what gliders are. I've never used that game, so this will be completely new to me. But let's go down and get a good look at Lady Liberty. No, that's not a good look at Lady Liberty. That's a really poor look at Lady Liberty. There she is. Might need to do a slight turn. I'm still getting my bearings on how to use these helicopters. I'm still really getting my bearings on how to use them. I want to turn that way. Oh wow, 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 wow. About to crash. Now we're going in circles. This is what I mean. Helicopters just don't. Helicopters and me, yeah, they don't mix. I have long since tried to fly a helicopter. I genuinely am trying. I am actually genuinely trying to do this right, but it's just so difficult. So we nearly crashed already, and that's with me, you know, doing every tutorial under the sun, watching every YouTube video under the sun. Look at that. I might have to screen grab that. Because it just, see, it just wants to go in its own direction. It doesn't, it's like, no, I don't want to go backwards. I'm trying to go forwards. What are you doing? Let me be. Let me be, please. Oh, look at that. That is a wonderful view. Ah. I'm going to screenshot. Look at that. Fantastic. Now, one of those will definitely be my screenshots. My chosen thumbnail for this video. Right, so now we've gone past Lady Liberty and tried to crash into it. Now we can try and crash land this aircraft. Now, well, this helicopter. I think going onto that island would be a mistake, because that looks like Guantanamo Bay. I know Guantanamo Bay is nowhere near here, it's on the other side of the bloody country. But anyway, we'll land here on Governor's Island. I think that's probably the best thing to do. And get away from Lady Liberty to prevent the inevitability of crashing into it, because I just don't know how to fly helicopters. I refuse to admit that I could probably do it if I put my mind to it. It's so tricky. It really is. Because there's not really any tutorials in the game to tell you how to fly them. You've sort of got to work it out yourself. And holy moly, yeah, that took a while. So let's land on what appears to be a golf course, a very, very, very small golf course, that being. And let's just land in this field here. See if we can. Nope. We fucked it, haven't we? Oh well, we're just going to land here. Oh, see, you get that low, and then you just increase the collective, and then it sort of does what it wants. Anyway, let's land in this field here. I think this seems like a good spot. Land right. Oh dear, I don't know what the textures are doing. Let's not land here. I have no idea what the textures are doing. I think this is a great game until you get down close to it, and then it just looks crap. Anyway, let's just land in this field here. This seems alright. And there we go, we crash landed into a field. There you go. Right, super. I still have no idea what I'm doing with these helicopters, so if we can just not crash. Just land nicely, you know, just land nicely, and down. There we go. Lovely. I know we're in some random field and blah 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 blah, but hey ho, we've landed in a field just outside Manhattan. That's going to have to do for now, anyway. So there you go, that's helicopters. Part 1 we have completed already of this fantastic little journey. So, let's exit, go back to your main menu, and we're going to explore part 2, which is gliders. Now, this is not something I have looked at before. Gliders, I can only presume, cannot be as difficult as, you know, as helicopters, but we'll see. We'll certainly see. So, we're going to start off with this one. So, this is your featured glider video. Experience the wonder of soaring in a glider induction flight. Pilot the DG Aviation LS8-18 sailplane, sounds nice, into rising air around the interior Alps, one of the world's premier locations for this form of aviation. Oh, very nice. A new assistance feature is activated by default in this flight to visualise updrafts from both thermals and ridge lift. This option can be toggled on and off during any flight via the weather panel in the in-flight toolbar. Okay, so if you don't want this visualisation of the updrafts, then you can just get rid of that. And I don't, because you can't see it in real life, so I don't think why you could see it in the game. Pay attention to the variometer and altitude gauges as you traverse heights. As you fly, note environmental specifics like proximity to ridges, canyons, peaks and locations of clouds where the best lift is generated. After a few practice flights with the overlay assistance enabled, try the dedicated gliders tutorials in the flight training section to continue soaring like an eagle. Right, well, we're going to go in all guns blazing and hope for the best, basically. Turn off all help and just go sod it. By the way, I have no idea how to land one of these. Absolutely no idea. I don't even know if it has a landing gear, does it? Don't think so. I don't think I've ever seen a glider with a landing gear, have you? Oh well. See, you can see these visualizations. So if we turn that off in the weather menu. There you go. Wonderful. Right, so let's get into the cockpit. This looks cool, doesn't it? Wow. No engine. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That is so bizarre, isn't it? Absolutely. Also, my flight stick isn't doing anything. Probably because I've still got it in the helicopter mode. Yeah, it needs to be a gamepad for gliders. Apply and save. Go back. Resume. There we go. That's better. That is cool, isn't it? Makes a weird noise, doesn't it? Sounds like it's trying to talk to you in Morse code. That is cool. Just the way you can like soar like an eagle. Oh my word. That is phenomenal. I'm glad it's got the music because that noise would drive me insane. It really would. Don't know what that's doing. I love it. It's like a little robot trying to talk to you. I don't know what that sounds like. It sounds really cool though. Let's have a look on the outside view. I think you'll probably get it best from the outside view on these gliders and stuff like that. Let's have a look. Yeah. Look at that. Look at the long wings making an absolute, just absolutely using the wind for its advantage. Look at that. It just feels so natural to be able to use the updrafts and the thermals to be able to generate lift. And look, you know, you don't even have an engine, right? Inevitably you're going to land, but you could fly for hours just gliding. That's what birds do. They never need to use, well, they should never need to flap their wings. I think I learned somewhere that, is it something like an eagle or something, only flaps its wings 5 times a year or some crap like that. And the rest of it just uses thermals, you know, up at 30,000 feet to be able to fly to its intended destination. And that's what this feels like. It just feels natural, it feels good. And I would like people to tell me, those of you that have used Aerofly FS, whether this is very similar, whether this is a good simulation of using a glider, or whether this just feels bizarre. I mean, to me, it feels very nice indeed. I've never been in a glider. Well, I'll tell a lie, I actually have been in a glider, but I've never been in an unpowered glider. I've been in a glider that has an engine, and then when you get to about 3,000 feet, or 4,000 feet, we turn the engine off. This is when I was in the Air Cadets, and we had to do a landing in the aircraft without the engine on, which was the most surreal experience I've ever done, because I was approaching this runway and I thought, what happens if we have to go round? What happens if something goes wrong? You ain't got an engine. You know, what are you going to do? You know, it was so surreal. But truth be told, I had nothing to worry about. It felt natural. It felt fantastic. And I would do gliding again any day. The wings are a lot longer than normal aircraft, which fills you with a lot of confidence, because it means you can use the true wing's potential. And look, you know, we've been flying for 5 minutes now. We've just glided towards this lake absolutely perfectly. I mean, there's no sign of us ending this flight anytime soon. Just feels right. It really does. And it's such a beautiful part of the world, this part of Italy, to be able to go soaring in. I mean, how can you look at this and think anything other than what a gorgeous planet we have? I feel like I'm in a David Attenborough sort of documentary. It's weird. It feels surreal. It feels good. Anyway, we're going to have to land this thing sooner rather than later, and sod knows where you're going to land it. I think you have to, like, if I recall, gliders, they can land on any open piece of land. This is ones that don't have landing gears and whatnot. Because if I press G, that's not going to do anything, is it? Oh, does it have a landing gear? Oh, it does have a very, very, very small landing gear, that is. Wow, look at that. That is cool. Soaring in the Alps, like God intended. Oh, how beautiful is this? It just feels fantastic. I know many people are going to say, "Oh, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong." Well, I don't care. I really don't care. I really don't care. I love this, and I just feel it feels so natural as a human being just to be able to glide. You know, there's nothing quite like doing this. You can go on all the roller coasters in the world that simulate flying and whatnot. There's nothing quite like getting in the air and actually doing it yourself, physically doing it. And something I'll admit to a lot of people, I've been wanting to get a private pilot's license for a long, long time. It's just too expensive, unfortunately. It's not something I could feasibly look into at this part of my life, and I'm still so young. But one day a private pilot's license will be something I'll be able to achieve, and I would love to do it. I'd love to learn how to use all the systems and be able to do flight plans in real life, work out aerospace, you know, where you can and can't fly. I think you really need to, you know, you need to be paying attention to be able to do something like that. But truth be told, why not? Why not? If you feel you have the skills, then why not? Anyway, so we're going to come in for a landing. I do not know where, because I've got bloody no idea if there's even any airports around here. If I press the V, what does that do? Nope, there's no airport. Oh, there is. There's LSZX, but that's probably miles away. Given that's a 200 mile... Yeah, so there's an airport 200 miles away if you can glide that far, but I don't think we're going to be quite that lucky. So I'm going to have to land it in a field somewhere. Oh, there's an airport up there. No, yeah, we have no way of making that. Oh well, we're going to have to ditch it in a field somewhere, guys. Doing well though, doing well for time. So the next thing we're going to have to look at in about a minute and a half, we're going to have a quick look at the Airbus A310. and the DC-3. We're not going to take them up in the air. We're not going to do anything like that. We're just going to have a quick visual look at them, and then we're going to explore them in further depth, further down the line. Anyway, I've already had a little test run in the Airbus A310. Very, very in-depth aircraft. Very much like it, but I'm just going to take some learning how to fly it and stuff like that. So that will be much further down the line. Anyway, and the DC-3 I've not even looked at yet. So, and there's plenty more aircraft. I've noticed there's more aircraft than just that have come into the sim. So, you know, how incredibly lucky we are to have, you know, to have the likes of the Sobo giving us these 3 DLCs. You know, we really are lucky indeed. But look at this, I'm just using the thermals to just fly them out. I don't even need an engine. I mean, I think engines are overrated now. I think you must be a sucker if you really need an engine. You don't need an engine, you just need a good old glider and some know-how. Right, well, we're going to have to ditch it in one of these fields over here. Look at that. I don't want to crash land it. And there we go. Let's get us quietly down. Yeah, that feels like a good speed. And there we go. Now we're going to crash. Yep. I told you that was going to happen. I thought, no, there's no brakes. No, no. and then that happened. Oh well. Right, so there you go. That's your introduction to gliders. Hope you enjoyed it. So we've done gliders, we've done helicopters, all new parts of Flight Simulator thanks to their 40th anniversary update. And now we're going to have a quick look into the final 2 bits of kit. So, in order to have a look into that, we're going to go over to a very nice part of the world. We're going to go over to Cairo. Oh, I've flown from Cairo before, very nice airport. And, take us at gate 4, if it's going to let us. Set its departure, and we're going to select the Airbus A310. So this Airbus A310 is a brand new aircraft, has only been in Flight Simulator for a very short amount of time. SU-PLA. I'm going to change it to Air Cairo just for the moment. ARIR. Close. Fly. Right, so let's have a look at this Airbus A310. Normally I'd show it to you from the hangar menu just so you can get an idea of what it is, but you can have a full walk around if you load it up in game, actually physically, so you'll be able to see exactly you know, exactly all about the Airbus A310. I'm going to have it in the plain blue livery. There aren't that many liveries. There's only Airbus, plain blue, you know, and a few others, you know, mainly generic airliners. Eventually we'll get the hang of this. And then the DC-3, I'll load that up in Canada, because that makes much more sense to load it up in Canada than to load it up here in Cairo. Right, so let's go to the external view and have a good old look at this DC-3. Right, so here we go. Welcome. DC-3. Why did I say DC-3? Because that's on my mind. Anyway, welcome to this glorious aircraft. Let's change the weather. Take it off the live weather and we'll maybe have it a little bit earlier. There we go. That makes sense. Look at that. Fantastic. Right, so here we go. This is your Airbus A310. Now, I'm very surprised they haven't done an Airbus A300. They've decided to do an Airbus A310. Very sort of random aircraft to do. You'd think you'd do an A300 if you're going to do one of these series, but hey, we've got an Airbus A310, probably my favourite one. I prefer it to the A300, if I'm going to be absolutely honest, because I've seen these more, or less. Can't really remember, to be honest, but yeah, no, it's a fantastic looking aircraft. I mean, if you have a look at all the little details, so you've got your ailerons and whatnot there. This is in a plain blue livery, but look, it's been significantly weathered because they're not new aircraft at all, so it looks fantastic. Nice little noises, which I've not really heard before in the game. The engines are fantastic. If you have a look at the wheels here, they're very high quality wheel sets. You can see the weathering under the aircraft. You've got some writing here as well. I'll zoom into if it will let me. Hydraulically operated cargo compartment door. See, very, very, very nice details on it indeed. You don't get a cabin. You do if you get the enhanced version, but I don't think there's much point unless you're going to fly this every single day. These engines look insane. They're actually rather large on the A310. They're not a small engine compartment at all. But a lot of Airbus A310s have a huge cargo compartment here, which you can use. For me, it's like halfway between a wide body and a narrow body, so it technically is a wide body, but it's technically not. Not many airlines use these. The main airline that used them in the United Kingdom, that came to the United Kingdom, that would say, were Air Transat. They operated a wealth of Airbus A310s, and I loved seeing them. They were wonderful aircraft to see back when they used to operate. Unfortunately, they've now all gone, been replaced by Airbus A321neo LRs, which are effectively the future of aviation travel, is your narrow bodies and stuff like that. So looking at it from sort of an external point of view, wow, I mean, it just looks the business, doesn't it? And this aircraft, let me remind you, is free. Literally free of charge. There is no charge at all for this aircraft, and the details, everything that's been done on it, it's just insane. It is really, really good, and it's been well received. It really has. You know, an aircraft like this, you know, had to be done well. From the wing textures to your flat textures and whatnot, you know, done superbly. It is a pay-wear level aircraft, that is for sure. And we've got it in the game for free, so, you know, there's nothing really more than you can say than that. So, congratulations, well done to the Asobo and the guys at Innersoft, I think it is, that have developed this aircraft. Feel free to correct me on that if I'm wrong. It's an airline like that, of course, or a company like that. Anyway, let's have a look into the cockpit, because that's where you're going to be spending most of your life in this aircraft. So, if you have a look in the cockpit now, there we go. Oh, so I've still got it on glider mode. Oh, every time you go to a new aircraft, you've got to change the controls back to what you had them before. So if I change it back to Leo, I fly and save, go back, zoom. There we go. It's already doing stuff I don't want it to do. There you go, cool. Right, so if you have a look here, and I zoom out, this is the cockpit of the Airbus A310. Now it looks fantastic, doesn't it? It's not a huge cockpit at all, but it is very retro. So you've got your fire agents here, fire handles and stuff like that. You've got your anti-ice, your lighting, seatbelt signs and whatnot, stone dorms, mechanicals. There's so much in this, and along with a lot of modern paywear aircraft, you get a full flight computer here, or on your iPad, that you can sort of have a look at your flight details, your aircraft type. Now these cold and dark, they're basically settings to set up the aircraft. You can have a look at your checklists, and now you've got a full checklist here, and go for absolutely everything at all. Now this is, I think, pretty official, to be honest, so that's by the guys at Innie Studios. Just looks fantastic. You've got all of this, you know, your mash, your balance, everything that a normal paywear aircraft would have, like an Aerosoft or you know, something like that would have. You can calibrate all your engine temperatures, change your units, your IRSs. It's just so detailed, and unbelievably so. For an aircraft, this is free of charge. Absolutely fantastic. You know, you can't really say much more than that. And on top of that, the textures are brilliant. Well, they're brilliant from a way away. If you have a close look and zoom in, they do get a bit, you know, low textury. Now, I didn't expect, you know, the same level that you would get from your Airbus A320neo from this, but it is looking fantastic nonetheless. Now, if I have a look quickly at the checklist, this will blow your mind. Look at the full checklist you get for this aircraft. It is insane, and I mean insane. Look at that. So you've got your preliminary cockpit inspection, flight deck preparation, before start, engine start, after start, taxi out, before takeoff, lineups, and some of these, like the flight deck preparation checklist alone, is 91. That's 91 items long. You've got to go through all of these this could you just setting this aircraft up alone could take you a solid half an hour, 45 minutes. You know, just to get through all these checklists, and that's if you haven't got the auto checklist function done by the co-pilot. But I must admit, it just looks superb. Every single angle, it just looks so well done. The frames are not incredible with it, I must admit. You do suffer a frame performance as a result of everything that's being factored into this aircraft. But oh my word, it is fantastic. And the first thing I'll say is this is free. And if you haven't got Sim Update 11 and you haven't updated to the 40th anniversary update, do it as soon as you can, because you will benefit from the gliders to the helicopters to this to the detail level. That is insane. So we're going to end on another positive high note, and we're going to go over to another aircraft I've been wanting to have a look at, and that is the DC-3. I think it's the DC-3 at least. I've never had a look at this aircraft in flight sim before, so let's have a gander. So at the top you've got your Airbus. You've got other helicopters, by the way. So you've got the Bell Model 407, as well as other bits. You know, these new aircraft, like the Curtiss JM4, that's all new. You've got your gliders here. I believe, here we go, Douglas DC-3 Classic. Let's have a look, and we want it in a retro livery, so let's have a check, see what liveries this comes in. Oh, this comes in some incredible liveries, doesn't it? Yeah, let's go for this one. This one looks cool, doesn't it? And we'll go for a Canadian registration of C-FNAI, and we're going to call it Polar, because that sounds about right to me. Now we're going to want to go over to check this aircraft out. We're going to travel all the way over to northern Canada. Let's have a look. Where can we go? Where can we go that's going to be nice and cold at the top of Canada? That's it's not Canada. That's America. Alright, let's have a look here. One of these airports will do. There we go. Churchill. Let's have a look. Is there a parking station here? There is. Wonderful. We'll go from here. And have a look at the Douglas DC-3. Now this is something I'm not going to be able to fly immediately. I'm going to need some proper flight training, because these aircraft are very old. They're not new aircraft at all. You will need to learn how to use it. You will need to learn how to do all the different things. Turboprop aircraft, so you've got your two turboprops on either side. And oh my word, very Canadian indeed. Very nice. Right, let's jump in and have a look outside. So, welcome to your DC-3. Now this is a classic, an absolute classic of the Flight Simulator days. And it just looks insane, doesn't it? Look at it. Look at the detailing from the propellers. You've got your very worn, weathered livery there, DC-3, direct air services. With my registration, my personalised registration there. Look at it. Northern Canada must be very, very cold where this is at the moment. Must be about minus, I reckon about minus 10 at least, probably. Don't be fooled by that sun. It's certainly not warm at this part of the world. But look at this. Look at the quality of it. Absolute phenomenal. And even when you're looking at it in the sun, look at the reflections and everything like that. It is just insane. Really, really, really nice. Got your refueling areas. I love these little nozzles. They're done as flight controls. Tell you what speed you're doing and whatnot like that. So let's have a look into the cockpit where you're going to be spending most of your time. Now look at this. Oh, this is just phenomenal, isn't it? Really is great. You're going to be spending a lot of time in a cockpit like this. Don't know what it's doing. I think it's I don't know. You see? Yeah, it's because I keep pressing different buttons. That's why. Yeah, it's having a hissy. Cool. No worries. Right, so here we go. This is your DC3, and oh my word, it looks the business, doesn't it? I mean, look at those retro controls. You've got your throttle, your propeller, your mixture. You've got everything you'd typically find in a piston engine aircraft. Carburetor heat, heat levers, stuff like that, flap controls, everything that you'd normally have in your typical aircraft, to be honest. And why not? And it just looks fantastic. It even looks old. Just having a look at that, it really does. From the weathered, flight controls that you've got there and everything like that, it looks like it's been really brought up to scratch. And if this is what a DC3 looks like in real life, because I've never actually seen a cockpit of a DC3, then that is seriously great work. I can't fathom any other aircraft that looks this good. Really cannot fathom that. And I can't wait to be able to use it one day. I think it does look fantastic. And if these controls are something to go by, where you've got your left, your right, rudders and everything like that, well, we're in for a definite treat, that is for sure. So, that is Flight Simulator. That is you've got your Pratt & Whitney engines there, as you can see. I love that Pratt & Whitney logo, that looks fantastic, it really does. So that's Sim Update 11 for you. Welcome to Northern Canada. So you've got DC3, you've got loads of new other aircraft that I haven't mentioned. Just have a look at the update files and you'll just be able to find out what you get. You've got brand new Airbus A310, fully modelled with loads and loads of different options for that, including an iPad that you can use for flying. So bang up to date, everything's features. And on top of that, you've got helicopters, all new to the sim, and gliders. There is so much to explore in this simulator now. It is truly fantastic. Now, I'm not going to put it to bed and say it's the best simulator that's ever existed. There are issues, and there will always be issues. There are issues with the ATC cutting out halfway through your flight. There are bugs and issues everywhere. And getting this update was not easy, I can tell you that, because it released at about 4 PM UK time, and by 5 o'clock there was no bandwidth left to be able to download it. So my sim basically wouldn't let me install this until 1 AM in the morning. So I had to wait patiently to be able to have it. But patience paid off, and it looks the business for sure. So, do I recommend Sim Update 11? That is the end of that is really what I'm getting at here. Yes, of course I do. It looks fantastic. The dynamics, what it adds into the simulator, so worth it. It really is, in spades. So I recommend you update to it. Maybe give it a bit of time if you are having a few issues, and there are always the Flight Simulator forums. I'm part of about 5 or 6 flight sim groups. The minute you put a post in there that you've got an issue, there'll be 5 or 6 people who will be able to help out. You know, there's always groups, helpful people that will know and have experienced these issues that you're experiencing and will know how to help out. So it is not a small community. You are not alone, I can tell you that. And all I can do is wish everyone a very happy flying time in Sim Update 11, the 40th anniversary of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Anyway, so that'll do it for this video today. I hope everyone has thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been amazing to be able to bring all these new aircraft to you, and just to be able to cram it all into one video. That was really the main thing, and I'm glad of being able to do it really and showcase this to you. I will be back in Flight Simulator in the new year. We'll be doing another flight, this time in the Boeing 787, which I've just about learned how to fly, and we'll be doing a flight, not long haul but not short haul at the same time, sort of medium haul. Something maybe like Cairo to Heathrow or something like that, and I'll just chuck it into bits. We'll do about a medium haul flight. I've been looking forward to doing something with Flight Simulator for a long time. These proper long haul flights will be coming back to my channel, so if you do want to see more Flight Simulator stuff, just let me know. I can't wait to be able to bring more to you anyway. But next month it is Christmas. We're starting the Christmas rodeo here on here on LM Simulation. I will be back in Train Sim World 3, exploring Northern Transpennine in a Christmas special here for LM Simulation. But in the meantime, I hope everyone has very much enjoyed this video. I will be back in Flight Simulator in the new year, flying the Boeing 787-10 that is in the simulator at the moment. And yeah, we'll see where we go from there. Anyway, hope everyone has enjoyed this video. Do take care, and I'll see you in the next one. All the best, do take care, and ta-ra!